The conference room on the 42nd floor of Morrison Industries was wrapped in glass. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked downtown Seattle, and on clear days you could see Mount Rainier rising in the distance. Today you couldn't. Storm clouds rolled in from the sound, turning the water a dull slate gray. It felt appropriate, considering what was about to happen. I sat in the far corner of the room, my chair pulled slightly away from the long mahogany table where the board members gathered. No one questioned why I was there. No one ever questioned me anymore. I was Daniel Morrison, the quiet son, the invisible one, the one who had spent 15 years working in the background, never making waves, never demanding attention, the one nobody saw coming. My sister Vanessa stood at the head of the table, exactly where our father used to stand before his stroke 6 months earlier. She wore a tailored red power suit that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. Confidence radiated from her posture. Behind her, our mother dabbed at her eyes with a handkerchief. Across the table, Uncle Thomas, Dad's brother and VP of Operations, nodded supportively. My older brother Marcus leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, wearing a satisfied smirk. The entire family had gathered for this moment. Vanessa's moment. As you all know, Vanessa began, her voice polished with the tone she'd perfected at Harvard Business School. Our father's health situation has created a leadership vacuum. She paused, letting the weight of her words settle. Morrison Industries needs strong, decisive leadership to navigate the challenges ahead. The markets are volatile. Our competitors are circling. We cannot afford to drift. She clicked the remote. A presentation appeared behind her. I've spent the last 6 months developing a comprehensive restructuring plan. We'll streamline operations, divest underperforming divisions, and refocus on our core competencies. Her eyes swept the room. Under my leadership, Morrison Industries will emerge leaner, stronger, and more profitable than ever. Nods circled the table. Marcus even began a slow clap which died quickly when no one joined him. I propose that the board vote today, Vanessa continued, to install me as CEO effective immediately. She smiled faintly. I've already secured proxy votes from Mother, Marcus, Uncle Thomas, and Aunt Carolyn. That's 42% of the family shares. She gestured confidently. Combined with institutional investors who've committed to supporting new leadership, we have more than enough to approve this transition. Robert Chun, our CFO for over 20 years, cleared his throat. Vanessa ignored him. Additionally, I recommend implementing my restructuring plan within 90 days. This will include selling off the manufacturing division in Ohio, the one Dad built himself, I said quietly from my corner. Every head turned toward me. I rarely spoke in meetings. I was the overlooked son, the one who chose product development over the executive track, the one content to build instead of posture. The Ohio plant is hemorrhaging money, Vanessa said, irritation flashing across her face. Sentiment doesn't pay dividends. Dad would understand that, would he? I asked calmly. Yes, she replied quickly. He was a businessman first. Smart decisions, I repeated. That's what you're calling this? Marcus leaned forward. What's your problem, Danny? You've never cared about strategy. You're happy playing with prototypes. Let the adults handle leadership. I smiled faintly. I'm 38, Marcus. I stopped being Danny 20 years ago. Vanessa cut in. You know what he means. You've never positioned yourself for leadership. So why start now? I'm not starting now, I said evenly. I'm finishing what I started 15 months ago. Silence fell across the room. Robert Chun's face remained neutral, but I noticed the slightest twitch at the corner of his mouth. He knew. What are you talking about? My mother asked, confusion creeping into her voice. Robert spoke carefully. Daniel, perhaps now would be an appropriate time to share the documentation we discussed. I nodded. I pulled out my phone. The screen behind Vanessa changed. Her restructuring plan vanished. In its place appeared a legal document. "This," I said calmly, "is a stock transfer agreement dated March 15th of last year." I let the words sink in. "It transfers 90% of Morrison Industries shares from our father to me." The room exploded. "That's impossible." Vanessa snapped, but her certainty was gone. "It's public record," Robert confirmed. "Filed with the SEC. Registered with the state. Completely legal." He turned slightly. "Daniel Morrison has been the majority shareholder for 15 months. Dad would never," Marcus began. "Dad did," I interrupted. "We spent 18 months planning it. He wanted the company protected, kept true to its mission, under leadership that understood what he built." My mother stared at me as if I were a stranger. "Why didn't you tell us?" "Because he asked me not to," I replied. "He wanted to see who would step up, for the right reasons, and who would scramble for power." Vanessa's composure. "You can't just drop this on us." "I didn't," I said. "The information's been available for over a year. None of you looked." Uncle Thomas spoke up. "Even if this is true, you can't run the company alone. You don't have the experience." "I do," I said. "I completed my MBA online. Graduated summa cum laude. Over 3 years. While running product development." Marcus stared. "You got an MBA? In secret?" "Not in secret," I replied. "I just didn't announce it." Vanessa gripped the back of her chair. "This doesn't change reality. The Ohio plant is still losing money. It stopped losing money 7 months ago," I said, tapping my phone again. New data appeared. Automation upgrades. Supplier renegotiations. A plant manager who understands manufacturing. Vanessa stared at the numbers. "The divisions you wanted to divest," I continued, "already restructured. The rest will be profitable next year." Aunt Carolyn asked quietly, "If you've been running things, why are we only hearing now?" "Because no one challenged my ownership," I said. "Until Vanessa forced this meeting." Robert stood. "I've been working with Daniel since the transfer. Everything he's done was authorized and approved." 3 independent board members nodded. "You knew?" Vanessa whispered. "We assumed the family knew," one replied carefully. "You assumed?" I said softly. "Just like you always did." My mother began to cry real tears this time. "Why did your father do this?" "He tried equal shares once," I said. "It nearly destroyed the company." She looked at me. "He chose the one who cared more about the business than control." Vanessa slumped into her chair. "You let me embarrass myself. I needed to hear your plan," I said honestly. "And now I know." Robert checked his watch. "We still have a board meeting." "Yes," I said. "But we'll be voting on my proposals." The room was silent. Storm clouds pressed against the windows. Morrison Industries wasn't falling. It had already chosen who would carry it forward.